Welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla. Today we are doing the fun, trendy applique bow on the side of the shirt or sweater. We're gonna do that today. And it's so funny because just yesterday I posted on my Instagram that I haven't used my machines in like 2 months. I posted a reel going like this because it was so dusty. All of my orders lately have been like laser engraving or screen printing. I haven't had any embroidery orders. So I have been missing my machines. And in my post yesterday, I even put that I'm thinking about doing just like some random Etsy design just to be able to use my machines again. And then I saw Ashley at the Monogram Mompreneurs newest video doing this bow design, and I was like, okay, that's it. That's what I have to do. So I watched her video, I watched a couple other videos, I bought a design, and we're gonna do it together. So here's the design that we're gonna do. I'll put it up right here. I will also link it down below, not an affiliate link or anything, just the one that I thought was the cutest. So we're gonna do that. Whew, I am out of breath already. If you didn't know, I'm pregnant and I get very out of breath. So what you need is cutaway stabilizer. I'm using my 8x9 Mighty hoop today because the bow that I'm doing is 6 inches. So obviously too big for Mighty hoop, whatever. If you're doing like a smaller one, obviously use whatever hoop is necessary for the size bow that you purchased. Some of them are like real small, maybe a 5x5 will work. Some of them are a lot bigger. So it just depends. The one that I am linking down below, I think it comes in like 5 or 6 different sizes. So just use the appropriate hoop for what size you want. We're gonna do this in 2 different versions. We're gonna do an applique and we're gonna do a non-applique. So I have this old sweater. I think I did this in a video last Christmas. It's my Grinch sweater. It's got the cute little design on the side. So on this one, we're not gonna do applique. We're just gonna do the bow design on the side. Honestly, because I forgot to get Christmas themed fabric when I was at the store today, and all I have is royal blue. So we're just gonna do it both ways. I'm just gonna have the green of the sweater be the inside of the bow. It's gonna be really cute, I promise. But I'm also gonna show you guys how to do the applique. So I have this royal blue fat quarter. I have just this old Gildan shirt that we're gonna practice on. And then for the applique, you're gonna need Heat and Bond Light, not the red one. You're gonna need scissors. You're gonna need like applique scissors. These are curved tip ones. And then you're gonna need adhesive spray. So we're gonna do the sweater first, the non-applique version first, and then we'll do the applique. So for this design, I actually modified it a little bit. There are some extra pieces in this design that I didn't necessarily want. I watched a YouTube video from Applique, the designer of this, and the bow in that video, it's the same design, but they took off like all the lace edging and it was just the satin trim. I wanted the lace edging on the outside, but I didn't want it like on the inside of the bow. I'll show you what I mean right here. I didn't want freestanding lace on the inside of the bow. I wanted it just a solid satin stitch right here. So I'm gonna show you guys how I deleted that in Chroma. I used Chroma for this instead of Embroidering because I was able to delete individual stitches. And then there's like a crisscross pattern over the like where the fabric would go, and I didn't want that either. So I'm going to show you how I deleted those and then show you the exact bow that we're going to stitch on in here because it is different than the design that you're going to purchase. So if that's something that you want to do, I'm going to show you that right here in Chroma. Here we have our files. It comes in a 5.5, a 5-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch, and 8-inch. The one we're doing today is 6 inches. So I'm simply just going to drag and drop it here into Chroma. And here you can see all of the different steps. Now this lace right here on the inside is what we're going to take out, as well as the inside crisscross. Now the inside crisscross is easier to take out. We're simply just going to hide, but we can't do that for the lace because if we did that, it's just going to take away all of it. So we have to do it individually. So I'm going to make sure my selection tool is done. And I'm simply just going to highlight and I'm simply just going to start clicking. Make sure you're clicking on the little pieces right here. If you get something like that, you're going to end up deleting, a giant satin stitch. So usually you can start at the top and then just start clicking delete and it'll go pretty quickly. So that's what we're going to do for this.
and keep going till it gets to the bottom. And then go back up here to the top and get the ones that we missed. If you're having a hard time clicking, you can zoom in and get a better shot of where you are. And it's really just that simple to delete. So we're just going to do that for all the way around. And there we have it. So now we are ready to save it to our USB and send it to our machine. If you want to see what it looks like 3D, there we go. And then this is how it's going to stitch out. So super easy.
And the first thing I'm going to do is hoop my stabilizer. Because what we're going to be kind of doing, or not kind of, what we are going to be doing is floating it on top of the hoop. So I'm going to hoop my stabilizer first. Like that. We are going to do our placement stitch on the stabilizer first. That's going to show us where to place the side seam of our sweater. Okay, so let's go to the EM1010. Okay, so we're going to put our hoop in. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to flip my design upside down, because when I float the sweater on, I want the bulk of the sweater to be out here, not in the back of the throat. So I'm going to flip the bow upside down. So I'm just going to go to design set, the little F, and flip it upside down. Set all of my colors to number 2, which is the green that I'm using. And then I'm also going to put a stop after, where am I going? Needle. I'm going to do automatic manual instead of automatic so that it stops after every step. Okay, so I'm going to trace. Make sure it doesn't hit the edge. And we are perfect. So we're going to go with the first tap down stitch. Okay, so our placement stitch is tapped down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the side seam of my sweater. Now I've seen people get like their iron out and find their crease. My sweater has been folded up in a drawer for a long time. You can kind of like really naturally see where the crease is. So I'm not going to do that. If you're having a hard time finding your crease, like if you have a crew neck that doesn't have, you know, a side seam like mine, by all means get your iron out, find where the side seam is. I'm not really worried about it. So I am going to line up the edge with the very bottom of the bow. And I'm gonna make sure the center is going straight up the middle of the bow. Now I want my edge to be like right at the bottom, because some of the videos I saw, people were like cutting the whole thing off, or they wouldn't cut the sweater until after. I don't want to have to do that. I want the satin stitch to be super, super smooth. So we're going to cut the inside like an actual applique after the next step. So I'm going to line it up with the edge, and then we're not going to have to worry about like fraying or open edges or anything like that. Okay, so we're going to spray. Actually, I need to make sure more of my sweater isn't hanging out. And actually, you know what we can do? We can kind of flatten this out more and put it like inside. Actually, these size small sweaters are kind of difficult. Let's see, let me go like this and hang the top part off the edge. I'm gonna tuck this inside. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better. There we go, that's better. I'm not worried about these brackets yet. I'm just worried about lining up the middle, and then we'll carefully tuck these out so that we can hoop it correctly. But I'm gonna use my adhesive spray and then hold it in place. then just carefully line it up with your middle seam. Straighten it out as best you can. Making sure these are lined up with the bottom of the bow. Go back just a tiny bit. There we go. Perfect. That's exactly where I want it. Right on the bottom of the bow. You can use tape or pins. You can use more spray. I know a lot of us don't like getting spray on the mighty hoops. Every once in a while, I'll take a day and just get some, you know, what's it called, goof off or whatever, and just clean my hoops. Okay, so we are good. Next, it's gonna do, like if we were doing applique, next would be like the tap down stitch for our fabric. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna cut the inside of the bow and then finish the outside. So when you bring it back over to your machine, feel underneath and make sure the bottom of the sweater didn't get tucked underneath your, like above your bobbin case, because there's nothing worse than a, you know, beautiful stitch out and then you find out you sewed the sweater to itself. Ask me how I know. So I'm gonna make sure we are clear, and then we're gonna press start. Hopefully you guys can see that on the camera, because I know the thread color I picked is almost exactly the same as the sweater color, but I got that perfectly on the edge of the sweater. I'm very happy with that. And that's gonna make it easy to line up the other side too. We're not gonna have like one bow that's, you know, an inch higher than the other. They're both gonna be perfectly on the edge. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut out this inside part and then the inside of the bows. I usually use a seam ripper, but of course I can't find mine right now. So I'm just going to make a small cut with my applique scissors and then just get as close to the edge of the thread as possible without actually cutting the thread. And there we go, there's one. And there's the other one, and now we're gonna do the inside right here. All right, there we go. So now it's gonna do the solid satin stitch on the inside, and then a satin stitch on the outside, and then that real pretty lace just effect on the outside of the bow. And again, feel underneath when you put it back on, just to make sure your sweater didn't slip under. And we're gonna press start. So this side just finished, super, super cute. I love the lace detail just on the outside. I didn't really think about this seam when I said I wasn't gonna do applique on this, but honestly, it doesn't really bother me all that much. So this is just a personal sweater for me. I don't know that I would sell it like this, but I think it's still really cute. So I'm gonna take this off. We're gonna carefully cut the cutaway out, and then I'm probably gonna use a lighter because I don't know if you can tell, but I didn't get as close with the fabric as I thought I could. So I have a little bit of cleanup to do, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the other side and look at the whole sweater together. All right guys, so here is the sweater all finished. I think it turned out absolutely adorable, and honestly, being pregnant right now, it kind of gave me a little bit more room to breathe in these sweaters. I put an old crew neck on the other day and I was like, ooh, that's tight. So this actually lets it out a little bit. So if you've, if you have found yourself pregnant like me or put on a little bit of weight, do this and your sweaters will fit a little bit better. But I think it is so stinking cute. I love the little cutout detail in the bow. I love it. I think it's super cute. Let me know what you guys think. Now let's do the actual applique on our shirt. So the first thing we need to do before we applique is prep our fabric. I cut a pretty sizable piece. I'm definitely not going to need this much, but we do have two sides to do. So I cut this piece off of my fat quarter, and you can see it is very, very wrinkly. So we're going to iron it out as best as we can. If you have some stubborn wrinkles like I do, you could either spray it lightly with like a spray water bottle, or you could use the steam feature on your iron. Mine has a little spray feature, so I'm just gonna lightly spray it. And that will help get wrinkles out. Now we are going to lay down our heat and bond and lay our fabric on top. Flatten it out as best we can. And we're gonna heat all the way around. So hopefully you guys can see that. This shininess is what you want. So now that we have our fabric ready, we're gonna hoop our stabilizer again and basically just do the exact same thing. I'm gonna get the placement stitch going on here while I find the exact center of where I want that. Okay, placement stitch is done. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but I did it in white this time. So same exact thing. We are going to line it up with our center seam. Line up the hem of the shirt with the bottom of the bows. And then adhesive spray it down. And we're going to be careful when we put it on and make sure the bottom of the shirt is under the sewing arm. Make any adjustments that you need if it shifted, but I think we're good. Now it's going to do the placement stitch for our fabric. Then you're going to place your fabric, making sure you are covering your bow 100%. Okay, so now we're going to cut around the blue fabric, not the blue shirt on the outside, just the blue fabric. So now we have all the fabric cut out, so now we need to cut out this middle part of the shirt. This is the only part of the shirt that we're gonna cut. Okay, so now we're gonna take it back to the machine and do the rest of the satin stitch and that pretty lace effect.
So here I'm just gonna do the basic cleanup of the bow. I'm gonna take it out of the hoop and clean up around all of my stabilizer, and then just again very carefully cut the inside of the cutaway, like on the inside of the bow. That's going to give us our really cute slit. This is definitely the most tedious part of the whole thing, but once you take a lighter to it, it ends up really, really clean. Okay, here is an up close of both of them. They both turned out so absolutely beautiful. If I can figure out how people are doing like the freestanding lace on the inside, I might do an updated video. I assume they're just using tearaway or water soluble stabilizer, or maybe they're just way better at cutting around cutaway than I am, but I don't know how they're doing it and not having their stabilizer show. But I love this look. I think it looks great. So here it is on the sweater. I think it is so beautiful. With this one, we have like a little peekaboo in the bow because there's no applique, so you just cut the sweater part right there. I think it looks adorable. I am so happy with how this came out.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today to make these. I had so much fun doing this. It was fun being able to turn on my machines and embroider something again. Been way too long. If there's something else that's trending that you guys want a tutorial on, let me know down in the comments below. I'll be sure to do a video on it. I love doing just random fun crafty videos. I haven't done them in a long time because all I've been doing is like custom stuff, right? Work with me's and things like that. So it's fun to just be able to do something fun, festive, cute, trendy. I've been out of the trendy Etsy game for a long time, so this was really fun to do. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know which one is your favorite. I will leave a link to this design down below, and I will see you in my next video.